Alright, so I've been playing my Steam Deck in dock mode a lot lately. As a result of that, I wanted to find myself a solid dedicated controller to use with my Steam Deck when I'm playing it in dock mode in my bedroom. I could technically use my Xbox or PS5 controllers, but I don't really want to deal with the repairing process every time I switch between my systems. And more importantly, I really don't like the latency of Bluetooth controllers, especially when using them with the Steam Deck. I've been looking for something with a 2.4 GHz option, and fortunately for me, it looks like 8BitDo has the perfect solution for me. Let's get into it. So this is the 8BitDo Ultimate controller. There are two different models that you can get for this controller. There's the more expensive Bluetooth edition controller, and then there is this one, the 2.4 GHz only option. The Bluetooth model comes in black or white and has a switch button layout. It also comes with a handful of extra features, including Bluetooth functionality, switch support with motion controls, and most notably, Hall effect joysticks. If you aren't familiar with them, the TLDR is that Hall effect joysticks essentially use a magnetic system with the joystick. And as a result of that, they are far less likely to succumb to drift issues due to physical wear and tear. Now, the non-Bluetooth controller that I have here has traditional joysticks, and it comes in 3 different color options. You can have your choice of either black, pink, or white. Now, I went with this controller because it's significantly cheaper than the Bluetooth unit. I don't need the Bluetooth or switch compatibility, and more importantly, I wanted that Xbox button layout, which you can't seem to get with that more expensive model. Out of the box, you get the controller itself, a USB-C cable, and a really nice little charging dock, which underneath you'll find this convenient storage space containing the 2.4 GHz USB dongle. Sadly, as with everything else these days, you'll need to supply your own power brick. Now, this controller retails for about 50 bucks, and you can often find it on sale across various online retailers. And honestly, between the dock and the controller quality itself, I'm really surprised with what you get for your money. The quality of the controller feels pretty nice and feels quite grippy in the hand thanks to its textured backing. The sticks feel really nice, the rounded buttons feel similar to that of an Xbox controller and feels good to press. The shoulder buttons and the analog triggers seem to be very similar to those on the DualShock 4 controller and feel about the same quality-wise. And while I can't necessarily confirm it, the D-pad on this controller seems to be straight out of what 8BitDo has used from previous controllers in the past, which is a good thing. The D-pad is nice and big, and on this controller, it's just in the right spot for me to comfortably use if I want to play any sort of 2D games. The controller has the standard start, select, and home type buttons, and in addition to that, it has a turbo button and 2 programmable buttons on the back that you can configure in the 8BitDo software. The software, I would say, is pretty good and has a decent amount of customizable options. Everything from setting up macros to rebinding your buttons, setting the trigger sensitivity, vibration intensity, and more. And what's even cooler is that you can save individual profiles to your controller, similar to that of like an Xbox Elite controller, and simply toggle those profiles with this button here. Now, for me personally, using this as like a dedicated Xbox-like Steam Deck controller, I don't really have a need for the software, but it's definitely nice to have. The magnetic charging dock is a surprisingly great inclusion. It's easy to pop in the controller to charge and remove it without any effort, and it even has this nice little underglow when charging that, in my opinion, looks really good on an end table. The controller itself is completely plug and play. To use with your Steam Deck, all you need to do is take the dongle and plug it into your dock or hub of choice. The folks over at Worky sent me this dock here to use for the video, and I gotta say it's a pretty premium feeling dock with 3 USB 3 ports, a USB-C port for power, an HDMI 2.0 port, and even an Ethernet jack. It's a really sleek design and comes at a fraction of the price of the Valve first-party option. If this dock seems interesting to you, I'll leave a link in the description down below, but yeah, let's get back to the controller. Now, I've already put a lot of hours on this controller already and played a multitude of different games. Whether I'm playing Vampire Survivors, The Outer Wilds, or even xCloud games like High on Life. The controller feels really good to use, and the latency, thanks to that 2.4 GHz dongle, is noticeably better than when I used my Xbox Series X controller with the Steam Deck. For those of you wondering, this controller has an advertised battery life of about 15 hours, which is pretty accurate from my testing. I didn't really do a thorough test with this, but yeah, I would say about 13 to 15 hours is what I got using this. And the dock doesn't take too long to fully charge this thing from zero either, only taking about 2 to 3 hours. That being said, if you really can't wait for your controller to charge on the dock, the USB-C port on the top here can be used to charge the controller and still simultaneously play your games. games. Since I'm talking about the Steam Deck experience, it is kind of a bummer that I can't simply hit the home button here and wake my Steam Deck from that alone, but that's not really 8BitDo's fault. I would say that's more on Valve's end. It would just be really convenient to be able to take this thing off the dock and power the Steam Deck on this way, but oh well, maybe we'll see that from Valve in a future update or something. I don't know. Speaking of updates, you may have encountered some reviews or some Reddit posts for that matter talking about how this controller doesn't seem to work with the Steam Deck very well. Apparently a lot of people are having issues getting this controller to work at all with the Steam Deck, and that seems to have been a software or a driver sort of issue. Anyway, since recording this video, Valve has since released an update on the Steam Deck that basically fixed any potential compatibility issues, so as long as your Steam Deck is up to date, everything should work just fine. Overall, this controller for my specific use case has been great. I don't really have anything to fault 8BitDo specifically for. The main thing I would really like to see addressed from Valve is regarding controllers like this one that have extra buttons beyond the traditional Xbox layout. On the Steam Deck, when configuring gamepad controls, Valve doesn't seem to take macro buttons into account and instead limits you to that traditional gamepad layout. Maybe there is a way to address the problems that I'm talking about. Maybe I'm just too dumb and don't see it, but if you know of a solution or a workaround, please do let me know in the comments down below because I would be very grateful. Anyway, minor tangent aside, if you're looking for a solid third-party controller to use with your Steam Deck, I really don't think you'll find a better option out there for that price. It's just a really high quality controller that feels really good in the hand. I keep this controller docked by my bedside and it's my go-to controller for the Steam Deck, and it served me well. Even with my minor gripes aside, I really do think this is a great controller to use with the Steam Deck, and I definitely think it's worth the purchase. And unless Microsoft decides to add Steam Deck support for their Xbox wireless dongles, I don't see myself going away from this controller anytime soon. If you're interested in picking up this controller or the Bluetooth edition controller for yourself, I'll leave affiliate links in the description down below for you to check out for yourself. But yeah, that about does it for this one, everyone. Thank you again, as always, for watching the video and checking out the channel. Let us know if you like this type of content by hitting that appropriate like or dislike button. Feel free to leave a comment down below on your thoughts with this controller or what your personal favorite controller is to use with the Steam Deck. If you have any questions regarding this controller that I neglected to mention in this video, please feel free to ask away in the comments, hit us up on Twitter, or consider joining our Discord community server, which all will be available in the description down below. And yeah, that's enough rambling out of me. Thank you again so much for watching. My name is Blake, and for all things tech, games, to really anything nerdy in between, be sure and subscribe to Digital Cynics. Have a good one, everyone. We'll see you next time.